Hey there, and welcome. Ever stop to think about what's really running the show inside your own head? Today, we're going to dive into the amazing chemical cocktail in your brain that, believe it or not, shapes pretty much everything: your thoughts, your feelings, and all your actions. Let's get right into it. So, let me ask you this. What is it that actually powers your personality? What's behind those sudden mood swings or that burst of motivation you get to crush a goal? Well, the answer comes down to a team of tiny but unbelievably powerful chemical messengers that are running the whole operation. And that brings us to our first section. We're going to start decoding the brain's secret language. It's time to meet the messengers that create the entire inner world you experience, every single moment of every single day.
Okay, so the main character in this whole story is the neurotransmitter. The easiest way to think of them is like the brain's own private messaging service. They deliver these critical signals between your nerve cells, your neurons, and those little messages influence, well, everything, from how happy you feel to whether you can remember where you put your keys.
But how do they pull it off? It's pretty amazing, actually. The messages don't just flow in a straight line. They have to make this incredible little jump. They leap across a tiny gap called a synapse. And it's right there in that microscopic space that the whole symphony of your mind is played. All right, let's meet the first member of our chemical crew, serotonin. You can think of this one as the brain's great mood stabilizer. You know, it's the chemical that's always working to keep you on a nice, even keel.
I mean, serotonin's job description is just massive. It helps manage your mood, your sleep patterns, even how hungry you feel. When you get right down to it, it's absolutely fundamental to your overall sense of emotional stability and well-being.
And this is why balance is just everything. When those serotonin levels dip, it's often linked to things like depression, anxiety, and just feeling irritable. But when things are balanced, that's where you get emotional stability and a much better ability to handle whatever life throws at you. It's a really delicate but totally vital equilibrium. Yeah, to really boil it down, serotonin is the chemistry behind that simple feeling of just being content and stable. It's like the calm at the center of the storm. All right, next up, the rock star of the brain, dopamine. This is your reward system. It's the chemical that gives you that powerful, driving force behind your biggest goals and your deepest desires.
Yup, dopamine is all about motivation and pleasure. It's basically your brain's way of giving you a little gold star, of saying, hey, that was awesome, let's do that again. And that reinforcement is what drives us to seek out experiences that feel good, whether it's eating a fantastic meal or finishing a huge project at work.
But, you know, just like with serotonin, it is a serious balancing act. And this shows you just how crucial that balance is. Too little dopamine, we see links to things like Parkinson's disease and depression. But go too far the other way, and you're looking at associations with addiction and schizophrenia. It just shows you the razor-thin line the brain has to walk. You know that powerful, incredible rush you feel when you finally achieve something you've been working so hard for? That exact feeling? Yep, that's your dopamine system lighting up and giving you that well-earned reward.
And for our final headliner, let's talk about glutamate. I like to call this one the master switch. Because if the other neurotransmitters have specific jobs, glutamate's main job is just to turn everything on. It is the brain's #1 signal for learning and for making memories.
So what makes it so special? Well, glutamate is excitatory. It's the most common neurotransmitter in your brain, and it acts like the gas pedal for your neurons. It gets them all fired up and ready to talk to each other, which is, of course, absolutely essential for learning anything new.
Of course, you can't just have a gas pedal with no brake, right? While balanced levels are what you need for your brain to communicate efficiently, way too much glutamate can actually overstimulate your neurons and damage them. It's a pretty wild phenomenon called excitotoxicity, and it just proves that even a good thing needs to be kept in check. So the next time you have that aha moment, that flash of insight when you learn something new, or when a really precious memory just pops into your head out of nowhere, you've got glutamate to thank for providing the spark that fired up those brain cells. Okay, so let's pull all this together and look at the big picture, life in the balance. Because as we've just seen with each of these chemicals, harmony isn't just nice to have. It is the absolute key to a healthy mind. So let's do a quick roll call of our chemical team. We've got serotonin, the mood stabilizer, keeping us steady. Then there's dopamine, the motivator, pushing us to achieve our goals. And finally, glutamate, the learning accelerator, firing up our brain to make brand new connections. And look, if there's one single thing to take away from all of this,
It's that our mental well-being is completely dependent on the delicate balance of this internal cocktail. The second any one of these chemicals gets out of sync, it can have huge effects, leading to very real and very significant mental health challenges. And that kind of leaves us with one big final question to think about. If our moods, our drive, and our entire perception of reality are so profoundly shaped by this chemical soup sloshing around in our skulls, what does that actually mean for the idea of free will? Something to chew on. Thanks for watching.